Hello all, my name is Ronan. Right here, this is a Havoc Trooper helmet from the game Star Wars The Old Republic. And it's put together with 1/4 inch EVA foam, or 6mm. What I've done at the end of it, when I was done, I coated it with a Smooth-On 65D. It's a hardener, and what it does, it essentially turns the EVA foam into plastic. So it feels almost exactly like plastic on the outside. This one is a Space Marine helmet from the game Warhammer 40K. Created this one with EVA foam, but it's a 1/2 inch or 12mm, 13mm, depends on what they have in your area. This one is a bit more squishy because I didn't put the smooth on like the other one. I discovered smooth on afterwards. And when I get to that stage, I'll show you how I did that. Now there's 3 types of foam generally, or 3 sizes of foam generally that I use around here. The first is the 12mm or 1/2 inch foam. These are also called anti-fatigue mats. In the States, you can get them from Harbor Freight. You can usually get them 4 sheets of 24 by 24 inch for about $9.99 at Harbor Freight. Sometimes you can get them that's on sale. On Super Sale, you can get them at $6.99 with no limit. So I'd always check back there and get it. The good part about it is it has a nice flattish surface on both sides. It doesn't have the diamond plating like on some of the anti-fatigue mats you find. Next is you have a 1/4 inch or 6mm. This is good for details and when you're doing something lightweight. If you're going to finish it off with smooth on to make it hard like this one, this is a good choice to go with. The last one I use is a 3mm or an 1/8 inch. Basically, this is good for putting a thin coat over something, or skinning it as it's called. There's some other types of mats you can get. You can get either a yoga mat or usually an army type sleeping pad. But what I would highly recommend against is getting cheap blue mats from Walmart. The reason is that they're very porous, so they don't hold paint that well or plasti dip, and they're kind of a waxy, so it doesn't really stick that well. I don't think it's actually EVA. It's a different type of foam. The project I decided to do during the tutorial is a child-sized Mandalorian helmet. This is similar to what Boba Fett wears in Star Wars. I did this for a couple reasons. One, it looked like a simple helmet to do, and I know a lot of people do it. And 2 is my kids have really been bugging me for some armor, so I decided this will kind of help them out. What I did is went online and found a Pepakura file that had this layout. I redesigned it a little bit so I can cut the pieces a little bit better how I wanted it, so we'll see how that works out. I'll do a tutorial on Pepakura some other time, but you can find plenty online on how it is. It's basically a paper folding software. What it does, it creates sheets like this, and it has the different pieces with labels, and you usually have tabs. Well, when you're doing foam, you don't need the tab, so you just turn that off. Another thing you can do is with these thin pieces, you don't really need to cut these out because the thickness of the foam will be usually match that. So a lot of times when, like this piece, I'm going to wait till I'm done towards the end and cut this out as I create it, because some of the pieces I won't need when I do the foam, and I might even not do this in foam because I want a really good details. So, but we'll see once I get there. So this is I cut out all the pieces for the helmet. So what I'm going to do is lay out some foam, trace it, use this as a template, cut it out, build it, and then we'll go from there. So what I'm going to use for this project is a 1/4 inch EVA foam roll from Harbor Freight. I picked this up for $9.99, and it's 12 square foot. What you want to do is lay them out, trace over them, cut them before you start your project. Most of the time. Sometimes you may want to cut them as you go. It really depends on your project because you might have to do different angles, things like that. And we'll go over that a little bit later. So all you do is you lay it out. What I like to do is a dry erase marker for a couple reasons. One, they're really cheap. Two, they really show up well on EVA foam. So you get them as close as possible, hold it in place, and trace it. And there you go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and do the rest of them. Then I'll show you some techniques in cutting it. Thanks.